September is getting closer, and for many households, that means the end of summer routines and the beginning of a completely different season. School starts, schedules change, weather patterns begin shifting, and grocery shopping habits can change along with them. But experienced preppers often pay attention to something else: the products that become more important when seasons change. Because certain grocery items can become more expensive, some can become harder to find, and others may suddenly see a major increase in demand. That's why many prepared households don't wait until they need something urgently. They buy gradually. They watch prices. They take advantage of sales. And they keep a reasonable backup supply of the products they already use. This isn't about panic buying. It's not about emptying store shelves. And it's certainly not about buying more than your household can safely store. It's about planning ahead. Today, we're looking at 13 critical grocery items that many preppers may want to consider buying before September. Some of these are foods. Some are pantry staples. And a few are everyday household essentials that can become surprisingly valuable during disruptions. The key is to think about your own household. What do you use every week? What would be difficult to replace? And what items would you want available if you couldn't make a normal grocery trip for several days or even weeks? Those are the products worth prioritizing. And remember, availability and prices vary by location, store, and brand. A product being harder to find in one area doesn't necessarily mean there's a nationwide shortage. So use this list as a planning guide, not a reason to panic. Before we begin, subscribe to Prepper Pulse and turn on notifications. We upload new videos daily with practical grocery tips, food storage ideas, and preparedness strategies to help you stay informed and ready. Now let's count down 13 critical grocery items preppers may be quietly buying before September. Starting with number 13. Number 13. Canned tomatoes. Starting our countdown at number 13 is a pantry staple that many households use regularly but may not think about until they suddenly run out. Canned tomatoes, diced tomatoes, crushed tomatoes, whole peeled tomatoes, and tomato sauce can all play an important role in everyday cooking. You can use them in pasta sauces, soups, chili, casseroles, rice dishes, and countless other recipes. That's what makes canned tomatoes valuable for preparedness. One simple pantry item can be used in many different meals. They also have an important advantage over fresh tomatoes. They don't require refrigeration while unopened. That means you can keep them in a pantry and use them whenever you need them. For preppers, this kind of flexibility matters. If grocery shopping becomes difficult for a period of time, having ingredients that can transform basic pantry staples into complete meals can make a big difference. Canned tomatoes can be combined with grains, beans, vegetables, or other ingredients to create meals with different flavors and textures. Before September, check your pantry. If you regularly cook with canned tomatoes and only have one can left, consider adding a few more during your next grocery trip. You don't need to buy a huge quantity. Simply build a reasonable backup supply and rotate older cans into your normal meals. Always inspect cans before use. Avoid containers that are severely swollen, leaking, or badly damaged. And store them in a cool, dry location according to the manufacturer's recommendations. Canned tomatoes earn the number 13 spot because they're affordable, versatile, easy to store, and useful in countless recipes. And the next item is something many households rely on for breakfast and snacks. A simple product that can become surprisingly valuable when fresh options are limited. Number 12. Applesauce. At number 12 is a simple pantry item that many people overlook when building an emergency food supply. Applesauce. It may seem like an ordinary snack, but it has several advantages that make it useful for preparedness. Applesauce is easy to eat. It requires no cooking, and many shelf-stable varieties can be stored unopened without refrigeration. That makes it convenient during power outages, emergencies, or situations when normal meal preparation becomes difficult. You can eat it directly from the container. Serve it as a snack. Add it to breakfast. Or use it as an ingredient in certain baking recipes. For families with children, Applesauce can also be a familiar food that helps provide variety when other fresh foods aren't available. That's important because emergency food storage shouldn't be built entirely around foods nobody wants to eat. The best supplies are foods your household already enjoys. Before September, check your pantry and see how much applesauce you actually have. If your family eats it regularly, keeping a few extra containers can provide a useful backup. You don't need to buy dozens. Just enough to give yourself some flexibility. Pay attention to package sizes as well. Single-serving cups can be convenient for quick snacks, while larger containers may provide better value for families. Store unopened products according to the manufacturer's recommendations and rotate older supplies into your normal routine. Applesauce earns the number 12 spot because it's shelf-stable in many packaged forms, requires no cooking, and can provide an easy snack or ingredient when fresh fruit isn't readily available. And the next item is something that can become extremely valuable when you need to prepare a quick meal without relying on fresh ingredients. Number 11. Canned pasta. At number 11 is a food that may not be the first thing that comes to mind when you think about preparedness. Canned pasta. It's not necessarily something everyone eats every day, but that's exactly why it can be useful as a backup. Canned pasta is typically ready to heat and eat, which means it requires minimal preparation compared with dry ingredients that need to be cooked from scratch. During a power outage, storm, or other disruption, convenience can become extremely valuable. You may have limited cooking fuel. You may not have access to your normal kitchen equipment. Or you may simply need a quick meal while dealing with a stressful situation. That's where ready-to-eat foods can help. Canned pasta can also be useful for families with children because it's familiar and easy to serve. Different varieties can provide some variety in your emergency pantry. Before September, check whether your household would actually eat this type of food. If the answer is yes, consider keeping a few cans as part of your backup supply. There's no need to buy large quantities. A few cans can provide quick meals when you need them. As with other canned foods, storage is important. Keep unopened cans in a cool, dry location and inspect them before use. Avoid cans that are severely swollen, leaking, or badly damaged. It's also smart to rotate your supply. Use older cans during normal meals and replace them when needed. Canned pasta earns the number 11 spot because it's convenient, shelf-stable, and requires minimal preparation when you need a quick meal. And the next item is something that can help you create filling meals from several different pantry ingredients. Number 10. Lentils. At number 10 is a pantry staple that many preppers appreciate because it's affordable, versatile, and can provide a valuable source of plant-based protein. Lentils. Red lentils. Green lentils. Brown lentils, and other varieties can all be useful additions to a long-term pantry. One of the biggest advantages of dried lentils is their versatility. You can use them in soups, stews, curries, salads, and many other meals. They can also be combined with grains and vegetables to create filling dishes using simple pantry ingredients. For preparedness, lentils are particularly useful because they are lightweight and easy to store when kept in appropriate conditions. Unlike many fresh foods, dried lentils don't require refrigeration. That makes them convenient for households building a longer-term food supply. Another advantage is that lentils generally don't require the same long soaking time as some other dried legumes. Depending on the variety and recipe, they can be cooked relatively quickly. That can save fuel and preparation time during an emergency. Before September, check your pantry and see whether lentils are already part of your normal meals. If your family enjoys them, consider buying a reasonable backup supply. It's always better to store foods you already know how to prepare. Keep dried lentils in a cool, dry location and protect them from moisture and pantry pests. Airtight storage can also help maintain quality. Lentils earn the number 10 spot because they're versatile, easy to store, and can serve as a useful foundation for soups, stews, and other filling meals. And the next item is something that can help add flavor to almost everything in your emergency pantry. Number 9. Soy sauce. At number 9 is a small bottle that can make a surprisingly big difference when you're working with simple pantry ingredients. Soy sauce. During an emergency, you may have plenty of basic foods available. But after eating the same flavors repeatedly, meals can quickly become boring. That's where condiments and flavoring ingredients become valuable. Soy sauce can add a strong savory flavor to rice, noodles, vegetables, beans, and many other simple meals. A small amount can completely change the taste of a dish. For preppers, this makes soy sauce a useful addition to a pantry. Many unopened soy sauce products can be stored at room temperature according to the manufacturer's instructions. That means you can keep them in a pantry without using valuable refrigerator space. Once opened, storage requirements can vary by product, so always check the label. Before September, check your kitchen cabinets. If you're almost out of soy sauce and use it regularly, replacing the bottle now may be worthwhile. You can also consider keeping one unopened backup bottle. There's no need to stockpile dozens. A small supply is enough to add variety to many meals. Another advantage is that soy sauce can be used with different cuisines. You can add it to stir-fries, rice bowls, noodle dishes, marinades, and homemade sauces. This versatility makes it especially useful when you're trying to stretch the ingredients you already have. Soy sauce earns the number 9 spot because it's compact, versatile, and capable of transforming simple pantry foods into meals with much more flavor. And the next item is something that can provide an easy source of calories and protein when you need a quick snack. Number 8. Mixed nuts. At number 8 is a compact food that many preppers appreciate because it can provide calories, protein, and fats without requiring cooking. Mixed nuts, almonds, cashews, peanuts, walnuts, and other varieties can all be useful additions to a preparedness pantry. One of the biggest advantages of nuts is convenience. You can eat them directly from the package, add them to oatmeal, mix them with dried fruit, or use them as a topping for other meals. They also take up relatively little space compared with many other foods. That makes them convenient for emergency bags, travel kits, and household pantry storage. However, nuts do require proper storage. Because they contain natural oils, they can eventually lose quality or develop off flavors, especially when exposed to heat, light, or air. Always follow the manufacturer's storage recommendations. Some products may benefit from refrigeration or freezing for longer-term quality. Before September, check your household's current supply. If your family already eats nuts regularly, keeping an extra package or two can provide a useful backup. You don't need to buy more than you can reasonably consume. It's also important to consider allergies when storing nuts in a household with multiple people. Choose products that fit your family's needs. Mixed nuts earn the number 8 spot because they're compact, versatile, convenient, and can provide a quick source of energy without requiring cooking. And the next item is something that can become incredibly useful when you're trying to make simple pantry meals more filling. Number 7. Canned chickpeas. We're now at number 7. And this is another pantry staple that many preppers appreciate because it can be used in an incredible number of meals. Canned chickpeas. Also known as garbanzo beans, chickpeas are a versatile ingredient that can help turn simple pantry foods into more satisfying meals. You can add them to salads, mix them into soups, use them in curries, mash them into spreads, or combine them with rice and vegetables. The biggest advantage of canned chickpeas is convenience. Unlike dried chickpeas, canned versions are already cooked. That means you can open the can and use them immediately. This can be particularly useful during emergencies when cooking fuel, time, or kitchen equipment may be limited. They also provide a source of plant-based protein and carbohydrates, making them a practical pantry staple. For preppers, having multiple ways to prepare one ingredient is valuable. A single can of chickpeas can become part of several different meals depending on what else you have available. Before September, check your pantry. If your household already enjoys chickpeas, consider keeping a few extra cans available. You don't need to stockpile an enormous amount. Simply build a reasonable backup supply and rotate older cans into your normal meals. Store unopened cans in a cool, dry place and inspect them before use. Avoid cans that are severely swollen, leaking, or badly damaged. Canned chickpeas earn the number 7 spot because they're convenient, shelf-stable, versatile, and can provide useful nutrition with minimal preparation. And now we're moving into the top 6. The next item is something that can provide a surprisingly important advantage when you need to prepare food during a power outage. Number 6. Instant mashed potatoes. We're now in the top 6. At number 6 is a pantry item that many people overlook when building an emergency food supply. Instant mashed potatoes. They may seem like a simple side dish, but for preparedness, they offer several useful advantages. First, they're quick to prepare. Depending on the product, you may only need hot water and a few additional ingredients. That can save time, cooking fuel, and effort compared with preparing potatoes from scratch. They're also lightweight and easy to store. A box or packet can provide multiple servings without taking up much space. For preppers, this kind of convenience can become valuable during an emergency. You can serve instant mashed potatoes alongside canned vegetables or other shelf-stable foods. You can also use them as an ingredient in certain recipes. They can help thicken soups, create simple potato-based meals, or add texture to other dishes. Before September, check your pantry and consider whether your household actually enjoys them. If they do, keeping a few packages as a backup can provide additional meal options. Store unopened packages in a cool, dry place and follow the manufacturer's instructions. Pay attention to the amount of water required during preparation. This is especially important if you're cooking during an emergency and need to carefully manage your water supply. Instant mashed potatoes earn the number 6 spot because they're easy to store, quick to prepare, and can provide a filling side dish or ingredient with minimal cooking. And now we're entering the top 5. The next item is something that can help you make your pantry meals more satisfying while providing a convenient source of protein. Number 5. Canned tuna. We're now in the top 5. At number 5 is a pantry staple that many preppers keep available because it provides a convenient source of protein without requiring refrigeration before opening. Canned tuna. It's easy to store, ready to use, and can be added to many different meals. You can make sandwiches, mix it with pasta, add it to salads, combine it with rice, or use it in simple casseroles. That versatility makes canned tuna particularly useful when you're trying to build a pantry that can support different types of meals. Another advantage is convenience. You don't need to cook the tuna before eating it. That can be important during power outages or situations when cooking equipment isn't available. For emergency preparedness, it's also useful to have multiple protein options. Instead of relying on one type of food, you can combine canned tuna with vegetables, grains, and other pantry ingredients. This can help create more variety over time. Before September, check your current supply. If your household already eats canned tuna, keeping a few extra cans may be a practical choice. But remember to consider dietary preferences and allergies. Not everyone enjoys seafood, and some people may need to limit certain types of fish. Choose products that fit your household. Store unopened cans in a cool, dry place and inspect them before use. Avoid cans that are leaking, severely swollen, or badly damaged. Canned tuna earns the number 5 spot because it's shelf-stable, versatile, convenient, and provides a practical protein option when fresh meat isn't available. And now we're down to the final 4. The next item is something that can become extremely valuable when you need to prepare food quickly with minimal water and cooking. Number 4. Instant noodles. We're down to the final 4. At number 4 is a food that many people already keep in their pantry. Instant noodles. They're inexpensive, lightweight, easy to store, and quick to prepare. That's why they're often included in emergency food supplies. When you're dealing with a power outage or another disruption, you may not have the time or resources to prepare a complicated meal. Instant noodles can provide a quick option with minimal preparation. They can also be customized. You can add canned vegetables, canned meat, eggs when available, or other ingredients to make them more filling and satisfying. For preppers, that flexibility can be valuable. One package can serve as a basic meal, while additional pantry ingredients can transform it into something more substantial. Another advantage is storage. Instant noodles generally take up relatively little space and don't require refrigeration before preparation. That makes them easy to keep in a pantry or emergency supply box. Before September, check how often your household actually eats them. If instant noodles are already part of your regular meals, keeping a reasonable backup supply can make sense. But pay attention to sodium content, especially if you're eating them frequently. You can also use less of the seasoning packet and add your own ingredients if that better suits your dietary needs. Instant noodles earn the number 4 spot because they're affordable, compact, shelf-stable, and quick to prepare when time and cooking resources are limited. And now we're down to the final 3. The next item is something that can provide a valuable source of nutrition while taking up surprisingly little space. Number 3. Dried fruit. We're down to the final 3. At number 3 is a food that many preppers appreciate because it can provide sweetness, calories, and convenience without requiring refrigeration. Dried fruit. Raisins, dates, dried apricots, prunes, and other varieties can all be useful additions to a preparedness pantry. Unlike fresh fruit, dried fruit has had much of its moisture removed. That generally allows it to last much longer when properly packaged and stored. This makes it a convenient option for emergency food supplies. You can eat dried fruit directly from the package. Add it to trail mix. Mix it with nuts. Add it to breakfast foods. Or use it in baking and cooking. It's also lightweight and easy to carry. That makes it useful for emergency bags, travel, camping, and everyday snacks. For preppers, another advantage is that dried fruit can add variety to meals. When fresh produce isn't available, having something naturally sweet can make a big difference. However, storage still matters. Heat and moisture can affect quality, so keep dried fruit in a cool, dry location and follow the manufacturer's recommendations. Once opened, reseal the package properly to maintain freshness. Before September, check which varieties your household actually enjoys. There's no reason to stockpile foods that will sit untouched. Choose products your family already eats and rotate them through your normal routine. Dried fruit earns the number 3 spot because it's lightweight, versatile, easy to store, and can provide a convenient source of energy when fresh fruit isn't available. And now we're down to the final 2. The next item is something that can help you create satisfying meals from several simple ingredients. Number 2. Canned beans. We're down to the final 2. At number 2 is one of the most practical foods you can keep in a preparedness pantry. Canned beans, black beans, kidney beans, pinto beans, navy beans, and other varieties can all provide valuable flexibility. The biggest advantage is that canned beans are already cooked. You can open a can and add the beans directly to a meal. No lengthy soaking, no hours of cooking, and no need to use large amounts of fuel just to make them ready to eat. That can be extremely useful during an emergency. You can add canned beans to rice. Mix them into soups. Use them in chili. Combine them with vegetables. Or create simple bean-based meals using whatever ingredients you have available. They also provide protein and carbohydrates, making them a practical addition to a balanced emergency food supply. For preppers, canned beans are valuable because they're both convenient and versatile. A single can be used in several different ways depending on what else is available. Before September, check your pantry. If you already use canned beans regularly, consider keeping a reasonable backup supply. You don't need to buy hundreds of cans. A few extra cans can provide useful flexibility while still being easy to rotate. Store unopened cans in a cool, dry location. And always inspect containers before opening. Avoid cans that are severely swollen, leaking, or badly damaged. Canned beans earn the number 2 spot because they're shelf-stable, ready to use, versatile, and capable of becoming part of many different meals. And now we've reached number 1. The most critical grocery item on our list is something that can make almost every other food in your pantry more useful. Number 1. Rice. We've reached number 1. And the final item on our list is one of the most versatile pantry staples you can have. Rice. White rice, brown rice, long grain rice, and other varieties can serve as the foundation for countless meals. Rice is valuable for preparedness because it can be combined with so many other ingredients. Beans, vegetables, canned meat, sauces, soups, And countless seasonings can transform a basic serving of rice into a completely different meal. That's why experienced preppers often consider rice an important pantry staple. It's also relatively easy to store when kept in appropriate conditions. However, different types of rice have different storage characteristics. White rice generally has a much longer storage life than brown rice because brown rice contains more natural oils that can eventually affect quality. Whatever type you choose, proper storage matters. Keep rice protected from moisture, heat, and pantry pests. For longer-term storage, appropriate airtight containers can help protect the food and maintain quality. Before September, check how much rice your household already has. If you use rice regularly, consider keeping a reasonable backup supply. You don't need to panic buy. Simply build your supply gradually and rotate older packages into your normal meals. One of the biggest advantages of rice is its versatility. Even if you have only a few other ingredients available, rice can help stretch meals and make them more filling. That's especially useful when grocery trips become difficult or certain foods become temporarily unavailable. Rice earns the #1 spot because it's versatile, widely used, easy to combine with other foods, and can serve as the foundation for countless meals. So there you have it. 13 critical grocery items that preppers may want to consider buying before September. From canned tomatoes and lentils to canned tuna, dried fruit, beans, and rice. The goal isn't to buy everything at once. It's to think ahead. Look at what your household actually eats. Check what you already have. Watch prices. And gradually build a reasonable backup supply. Preparedness isn't about panic. It's about having options. Because when prices rise, when a product temporarily disappears, or when an unexpected disruption makes grocery shopping difficult, the people who prepared gradually may already have what they need at home. Remember to store your supplies properly, rotate older products, and avoid buying more than your household can safely store and realistically use. A well-planned pantry isn't about having the biggest stockpile. It's about having the right foods available when you need them. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Prepper Pulse and turn on notifications. We upload new videos daily with practical grocery tips, food storage ideas, and preparedness strategies to help you stay informed and ready. Stay prepared, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next video.